I'm almost done here, but I have a few topics left. The one that I'd like to start off with is some of this technology that's hoping to help reduce the spread of COVID, such as the exposure notification apps or these AI-enabled cameras that we've seen reported on in town here. Are you supportive of these measures, or do you have any concerns?
So I'm okay with a voluntary COVID tracing app. I'm using it myself because, if I'm exposed to COVID at a restaurant or something else, I think I want to know because I don't want to potentially infect my staff, my children, or other people. So I think it's good to have these applications available for Canadians, and they can decide whether or not they want to download those apps or not.
That's awesome. I thank you for sharing that you've downloaded it. I mean, I've downloaded it too, and I'm glad to hear that other people are doing it as well. I'm glad that there is some support for it. That's awesome.
It just makes sense to me. I'm not super afraid of Big Brother and other things. I mean, I'm certainly cognizant of privacy, but I think this is a reasonable step to take to fight the spread of a pandemic.
I've looked into how it's designed. It seems very well designed as far as protecting privacy goes. It seems very great. It seems awesome to me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. But as far as something that's not so voluntary, I mean, I know they're getting sorry, specifically with these AI enabled cameras in town here. That's a little less voluntary because you can't choose. Well, you can choose which paths you take, but I mean, it's a little less voluntary if you want to go to the park. You get to choose if you download an app, but you can't choose whether this camera catches you or not. I know it's anonymous right now, but you can just see where some of these things are going. Um,
I'm not particularly familiar with what you're discussing, the AI cameras that have been installed in town. I don't really understand the nature or what they're being used for. In fact, I hadn't heard of it until you mentioned it.
oh, okay. I won't go too deep into it, but they've just installed these cameras from Rotary Park. It's a pilot program from this company in Oakville. It's pretty cool. It's a cool technology. Um, but what it does is it lets people know if there's too many, or lets the town know if there's too many people in a public space, and it alerts them, and they come and check and kind of like advise people, hey, maybe there shouldn't be so many people here.
Right. I like the concept of that. I certainly have been disappointed, like many people, to see large gatherings of people across our country in parks and other places during COVID. So in theory, I'm not opposed to something that aids in the enforcement of our orders right now, which are to limit gatherings, et cetera, and to make sure we social distance.
Awesome, and it seems like it's done in a way that again protects privacy as well.
Right. Well, then I'd be 100% in favor of that.
Awesome, awesome.